All right, so we are here with Miss Bianca de Lachica Calderón, correct?
Calderón de Lachica.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay,
Yes.
I'm gonna let you say that.
Okay, I am la abogada Bianca Calderón de Lachica. La chica poderosa.
All right, great. And then we have Miss Jen.
Jen Barbado, aka Fly Girl Jen, or you can say Jen Barrieto if you want to get real Latina with it. We can do that
Okay,
too.
great. So yeah, we are here in Stunner Studios. If you're trying to figure out what this is about, this is Miss Bianca here.
Oh, beautiful.
Can y'all see that on the cover? So this is her. How many years have you been practicing law?
7 years.
So this is her 7th year. All right, congrats.
Thank
That's
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Awesome. And so let's talk about, I can talk about how I got the idea, I guess, of reaching out to you to do a few things, right? So I was, my parents are from like the, I guess the north side area that's by Heights and like, you know where Lindo is at? Lindo area?
No.
Well, you know where the Heights
Well,
is at, right?
when you say north side, I think of where I grew up was like Spring Woodlands area. So I'm like real north.
Well, north. I don't know what you call it, but the Heights area, kind of mid area, the Heights.
Yeah.
So all right. So my parents live around that area, right? And then there's a billboard of her. Like whenever I go see my parents, I'll exit and I see the billboard. Long story short, I actually had a billboard of myself like right down the street from hers. And it was like a cool coincidence. And we were driving, and my girlfriend, soon to be fiance.
I didn't know that one. Oh, yeah, congratulations for that too.
She saw that, and you know, it's a cool thing to see a female lawyer on a big old billboard, because all you see is these men and these suits, you know what I mean? So that kind of brings you in a little bit, like, hey, wait a minute, who is that? You know, she's like, hey, she goes, you know, you worked in a lot of law things in the past, law industry in the past. She's like, you should reach out to her, see if maybe you could do an article or, you know, interview or something. I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let me try that. Anyway, so that was then. Here we are.
We are now.
Yeah, but it's a great. I like the way you market it. I love how you're doing it right. It's really. I'm telling you, like every law billboard you see is a dude in a suit or whatever, and then you see hers, and it stands out. You know what I mean? So. I like that. It's cool.
Well, thank you for the opportunity for having me and putting me on your cover. I mean,
of course,
is such a great honor, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, there was a couple of questions that you were talking about. I overheard you talking about. What was that again?
I had a couple of questions for Bianca because I'm so intrigued with her age and how much she's achieved and just her lifestyle altogether. She's also a mother too, so that's phenomenal. A mom and having her own firm, like, wow, you're amazing. So where did all this passion come from to get so in line with everything and achieve so much in such a short time?
Well, you're so kind. I grew up around lawyers, in particular personal injury lawyers. Corpus Christi has been, which is where I'm from, has been kind of a breeding ground for successful personal injury lawyers. Like the most successful ones have come out of Corpus Christi, and I happen to, like I said, grow up around them. My dad works in the personal injury business as well, and he's an investigator. And so as a little girl, you know, he has 3 girls. I think he always wanted a son, and he realized, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to have that son. But he always inspired me to be a lawyer. He said, you know, there's so many Latinos and people that need to know their rights and need help. And being a lawyer gives you that opportunity to do that. And it also, you know, opens up a lot of doors for you. And he knew that I always had that very determined personality, and I was always doing really well in school. So he knew I had it in me. And just by in the summers, I'd be like, Dad, Mom, I want to work at Abercrombie. You know, back then that was like a big deal. They recruited me, and I was all excited. And they're like, no, if you're going to work, you're going to work at a law firm. And so I said, okay.
Real quick. Have you we're gonna go right back to it. You know that cologne when you go into Abercrombie? You know that cologne?
Fierce.
Yes,
I love that
it's
cologne.
It's amazing.
I
know.
I work for the company. You have to spray
Fierce?
to walk around. Yes.
Okay, I need to get Fierce. Okay, now let's get back to what you.
This is fierce that they made you do this at a young age. How
did.
old were you working in a law firm?
Freshman in high school.
Oh my gosh!
Yes, and at first I liked it. I loved it because
really?
Yes,
at that age, you really for real.
I did because I just saw these powerful men every day come in and talk about these amazing cases. This was back when Firestone and Ford, all of that litigation was on TV 24/7 when the tires were failing and the Explorers were flipping over. And, you know, a lot of deaths were happening. And so I really got to kind of see it all be so glamorized. And these lawyers were kind of the first ones to bring it forward, all of these cases. And I just remember working on all of these big files and just seeing what they settled for. And I'm like, wow, this is like a really big way to make a living as well. Yeah. And
smart.
Yeah. And so it was kind of fun to work with the secretaries and the paralegals and to kind of learn the practice of law from the beginning to the top of the I don't like to say food chain because I see us as all equals, but we're all part of a team. And to kind of be a team member in different parts of the practice of law was a fun experience, and it inspired me. And the lawyers would always be like, you need to go to law school, and they kind of told me what to do. And so I just always had that roadmap of, and lawyers always like coming up to me on my birthdays like, so how are those law school applications? So it was always like everybody knew Bianca's going to be a lawyer, and that's it. So,
but kudos to you for not being a rebellious teen.
Oh no!
And not being like, I'm going to do my own thing.
Right.
But now with that said, Bianca, you own your own firm.
I do,
and you have kids.
Yeah, I know. And
is this your dream? What are you going to do?
Yeah, my daughter is like my dad says she's Bianca 2.0. She is so determined, so outspoken. So I'm pretty sure I will have my work cut out with her.
That's great, and hopefully an amazing partner later, right?
Yes, she can out-negotiate me. I'm like, I negotiate with defense counsels for Fortune 500 companies every day, and you over here, I'm like, I can't outsmart you. I don't know, but yeah. So I really hope, I always let her be around me when I'm on phone calls or Zoom calls, and I'm like, just like my dad, like people really don't mind it. Like sometimes we're like, oh, it's unprofessional to have your kid around, but I'm like, that's how I learned. And so if you're okay with it, please let my daughter be there. So it's kind of fun to bring her around every now and then. So
with that said, you totally segued us into my next question. Having your own firm, being the mom, what are you facing as a woman juggling that role? Both of those roles are so important to society.
Oh, big time. It's a lot. My background, I worked for a big litigation firm for 5 years. I traveled across the country and really got amazing experience working on the country's biggest cases.
Wow.
And, got to recover millions of dollars and, be at the end of the negotiating table with attorneys for Fortune 500 companies and be known by them too, which was crazy. And it was so much fun, but I didn't have a life. I woke up super, super early, would come home or be traveling all week, and I would never be able to see my kids or my husband. And so that is what kind of inspired me to open the doors to my own firm, because then I'm in charge of, what cases I'm going to take on, where I'm going to take them on, and be in charge of my day.
Yeah.
And so the best part about being a lawyer is I can do a lot of my work from my laptop. So everything's on my phone. My phones go to my phone, my own cell phone. And so I'm able to kind of manage my own firm and be home if I want to, or be at the office. And so having that freedom, being your CEO, I think that's really where the power of being a lawyer and a mom comes to play. So I'm very fortunate to have that, and I think I also have a very supportive husband as well that always has my back and can pick up the slack whenever I can't do it. So I think
shout out to the hubs.
Yes, yeah. I think that makes a huge difference.
Behind every great man is that strong woman.
Yes.
So speaking of that, so the whole law industry and field, you know, is dominated by men, right?
Yes.
So what do you hear a lot of? Do you hear people saying great things or mixed? What do you hear a lot of? I'm just curious.
Yes. So I would say 95% of, you know, comments on social media are very positive. And I definitely feel a lot of respect from my peers as far as attorneys go. I think, you know, in the wake of the Me Too movement and everything, I think people are a lot more educated in how to handle women, and realize our place in the workforce and realize that we do deserve respect. And of course, I've had those times where I've talked to defense counsel about, hey, I want $1 million for this case, and they laugh and they're like, ha, that's never going to happen, honey. Like, but it does. It ends up happening because I don't stop. I'm very relentless in the way I present my cases and the way I, you know, prove up my clients' damages and represent them. But, you know, they underestimate me, and that's fine. I get it. It's my age and I'm female, but I don't see being a female as a weakness. I think being a female is our biggest source of power, because, you know, we just are able to balance things and not get so stressed out or we're able to kind of think outside the box a little bit more.
You said something earlier when we were talking before this. You were saying that you're like, women can bring that other element. Yeah.
Yes,
so speak on that. What you were saying.
Yeah. So I think for me, my biggest strength is dealing with clients and realizing, okay, most of my clients have suffered catastrophic injuries, or some have suffered a death. Say they've lost their husband. And for me, I'm able to use my empathy and my compassion that I inherently have as a woman to show that compassion and present my clients' cases in a way that I think a man can't. Because as a woman, I know, okay, you know, God forbid if I lose my husband, or God forbid I'm injured and I need a surgery, I know what I'm going to have to go through as a woman. Because as mothers, we don't get the days. We don't get a day off. We don't get a sick day. And our kids still look to us. Even if we're in bed, they still need us. And, you know, as a lawyer, I use that knowledge or that experience to really tell my clients' stories in a different way to a jury, or to, you know, the insurance adjusters, or whether it's in a demand letter, to where they understand the case a little bit deeper than the black and white way that a man may put it. Yeah, no offense to men, but I've seen some very creative male lawyers as well. But that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I like that. That's good. Oh wait, there was a good question that you had. What was that good question?
I had so many of them. I wanted to know also, if you weren't going to be a lawyer, what was it going to be?
Ooh, that's a good one. It's a great one.
I think it would definitely be anything having to do with being an entrepreneur. I've always loved branding and marketing and, you know.
Like creating your own schedule.
Yes. Yep. And, you know, creating my own brand. Whatever it would have been, I would have probably had some sort of product or service and just been a CEO of my own something. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I don't have that $1 million idea, unfortunately. But definitely something like that. Or I don't know, maybe like an interior designer for a little bit, but then because I like interior design, but
what is your talent?
My talent,
besides being a great lawyer.
Oh, you're so kind. Wow, I don't know.
or not our hobby, you know, something that.
Oh, hobbies. Yes. Well, I love to travel. I love anything having to do with fashion. So, you know, we were talking earlier, I like watching TikTok and seeing the latest fashion trends and, you know, being ahead of the social media world. I think it's constantly evolving. So I'm always studying that too. And, like I said, I'm really good at marketing, I think. Yeah. People always call me and they're like, hey, who does your marketing? I want to hire them. I'm like, it's me.
Hire me? Yeah.
Yeah. So
are you gonna open up your own fashion line?
Oh, no, I don't think so. But I would like to, you know, I touched on this in the magazine. You know, when I get older, maybe have my own, like, Judge Judy type of show. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh,
I think that would be fun.
That'd be great.
Or be a legal analyst for, you know, a big TV station. You know,
cool. You would be. Oh, yes.
Yes.
That'd be great.
So that would be fun.
So definitely you're prepping yourself for that kind of lifestyle, and you encounter that on the day-to-day with being in front of the media, especially lately with certain cases.
Yes.
How is that a challenge or not a challenge? How do you go about talking in the media about your cases, but then you have to be private with that client information?
Yes.
How are you vague but yet telling details?
It's a delicate balance. Before, if I when I do get the high profile cases, I make sure the family really trusts me, and I make sure I tell them, okay, if we go out to the media and hold a press conference, you do know X, Y, and Z is going to come out, or it's either got to be all or nothing. And as long as I know I have the family support, and in the case you're talking about, I did, then it's really full speed ahead, because the media it is important to raise awareness on certain issues and try and bring out change. And that's what lawsuits do, and that's what putting things out on the media helps do as well, is propel that level of change that these clients are seeking in the judicial system.
Oh, I have a really good question too. So I'm just kind of thinking of this. Okay, so we're in 2021 right now, right? 2021. Like I was telling her earlier, a lot of things that people did 10 years ago they don't even work nowadays, or they may work, but very poorly. I don't know. We do things so differently now. What advice would you give to maybe an older attorney, or someone that's older, that's not, hip to this internet and social media world? What kind of advice would you give to them? Because it's very important that they market themselves online everywhere,
I would say you better get used to it and get ready, because the new wave of lawyers it's Instagram,
it's here,
it's TikTok, it's here. And we are so used to, getting to follow our favorite influencers and knowing everything about them. And so why wouldn't being a lawyer be any different? That's kind of why I've put myself a little bit more out there than most lawyers. Like, you kind of know what I'm doing day to day, and you know me and my kids, or you just see me on a Saturday. And I think as lawyers in the past, it's almost like, okay, the only thing we would know about you is your biography and your boring picture.
Yeah, so I totally agree. I think a lot more lawyers should be doing that, because your clients, they want to know who you are. They want to know about you, and even if they're not anybody, there could be it could be a owner of a clothing brand, and if you're telling your story, they're going to want to buy your product. They feel Absolutely. It's authentic. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And especially in your case, so they'll feel more connected to you. Hey, I can trust her. Hey, I can go to her. She actually cares. I'm not just another number.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I feel that's where I benefited the most off of putting myself out there on Instagram, not only from the clients I acquired through it, but also we already have a relationship before they even need me. And so they learn to trust me, like you said,
That's great.
before they even come into my office. So we already have that history of where, okay, they could know a little bit about me before they even, think of, okay, who do I call? I'm the first name in their head.
See, these other lawyers need to take notes because you're doing it right.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you ever hear obviously when you're doing so great, there's always going to be like little haters or people that comment negative. Do you ever hear anybody, maybe like an older audience, do you ever hear anybody like, hey, why are you putting your business out there? Or you should, or maybe they're not understanding what you're doing. You know what I mean? What do you typically hear?
At first, I had a lot of that. Like, you're a lawyer, you shouldn't be on Instagram. You should only show yourself in a suit and be boring, or you leaving court. But I've always been a visionary. I've always kind of marched the beat of my own drum. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It didn't deter me. But I do get some comments from men that are very derogatory on my Facebook pictures. It's mainly on Facebook, where I'm like, I feel men don't get subjected to that. Like I said, they're sexual derogatory comments, or saying I do certain, she's a type that does stuff with the judges, and that's why she is where she's at. And at first they would really affect me, because I'm like, this is awful. Men don't get these types of comments, and I went to law school just like all these male attorneys did as well. And I feel like I should deserve a certain level of respect. And I'm a mom and a wife. And to allude to that it can get to you. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, that's why I want to be on more, magazine covers and normalize seeing women attorneys be more of themselves, not just a cookie cutter template that we've been taught to be all of these years.
So look, with being a woman or a girl, a female, you're always going to have that. It's never going to go away. You're always going to have some retarded dude commenting something, right? It's never going to go away. So it's just best to just ignore it, read past it, and just keep going. I mean, because like my girl, I mean, she'll sit there and let me look at the weird stuff people inbox or like you know what I mean? Like when the
thirst is real.
Yeah. So that's never going to end. Like you can't do anything about it. So just ignore it and just keep moving on. That's it. That's the only thing you could do. Because if you let it get to you, I mean, like it's always gonna happen.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I would assume there could be worse things said. So I just take the good with the bad and just focus on the good and keep on trucking. That's what Mom says. Just keep on moving.
Exactly. And now, so we got something. So the Houstonian Review would like to we would like to present her with this award.
Oh.
So it's a Legal Influencer of the Year 2021. So she can put that in her office there.
This
Como que wow.
I know. I am like, oh my gosh.
Wait, we got it.
I think this is the first Legal Influencer award.
We got to take a picture of you.
Yes.
Okay, y'all ready? You guys ready? Oh, there we go. Perfect.
Y'all are incredible. Thank you so much.
Oh, no problem. Now, before we go and head out, what kind of advice would you like to give to the listeners out there and people who look up to you or people that maybe want to do business with you in the future?
Yes. Always reach out to me. I'm very, I think, approachable. And always happy to help other women who want to practice law and get into the legal career, get into the legal field. I'm always happy to give advice. I know I've hosted, like Zoom calls with a bunch of potential women that want to get into law, and I'm a resource for you guys. So always feel free to reach out to me and know that only you can define your limits, only you can define your dreams, and just go for it and dream big, because when they say the sky's the limit, that is really true. And, as long as you stick to something long enough, and usually that moment when you feel like giving up is that moment that you got to stick on, because that means something else is coming and you just never know. Yeah, exactly. Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich? No. Okay, you need to read it. So it's a quote that it's something very similar to what you said. It's like people are digging, right? They're digging for gold, right? Yeah. And you got one guy digging, right? And he just keeps digging. You got another guy, same thing, he's digging. That first guy, I don't know how it goes, but the first guy, I guess he gave up like 6 inches right before he struck gold. Right. Exactly. You cannot give up. You know what I mean? Yes. So it's like, don't give up right before you're going to strike. You feel like giving up. I mean, right before you're going to. That's usually that moment. Yeah, exactly. Is another month, another week, or you just get that phone call where it just changes the trajectory of everything that you've been doing. So that's the best part of life. Great. So, and where can people find you? That's what I was going to say. How can people get a hold of you? Yes. You're offering mentoring and yes. I'm at La Abogada Bianca on Instagram. I'm legalinfluencer.com, laabogadabianca.com, and hopefully you've seen my billboards around town. And how many do you have? I have 8. 8, wow. Yes. And thank you. My commercial's on Univision. I hope to hit the English-speaking market very soon. And, I appreciate you guys having me. Awesome. Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, and congratulations on everything and your new award. Yes, I love it. This is definitely going in my office, and I can't wait to show it off. All right. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for coming by. Thanks, Bianca.